Yo, welcome to listen, my people. Welcome back to Black Immigrated, Emancipated. I'm your host, George Washington III. I'm here yet again in front of you. And listen, I know y'all wondering why am I wearing the same get up. It's because I gotta have the garb on. I gotta let people see, you know what I'm saying? I got somebody designing something special for me right now, so I can try to switch it up. But right now, until then, this is my military garment, and we gonna rock it until the wheels fall off, or until I get another outfit. All right. So today we giving a little history lesson. Now every week I'm gonna try to give a history lesson on this Back to Africa movement, so y'all can see the problems, the solutions, the opportunities of doing it again and doing it right this time, and doing it in a way that don't shake up the structure of how our people operate, but combines it. So today I'm going to talk about the American Colonization Society in Liberia. Now, I'm going to only give information based off of things that I read, and a lot of things I'm going to try to read in a verbatim way, so you know that I'm just not making things up. But ironically, I have a small attachment to the history of the ACS in Liberia. No, not because I'm Liberian, and no, not because I have ancestors that moved to Liberia, but one of the key people who was in creating the movement may have been a slave owner on the plantation my family was on. I mean, it's lining up, but I'm not sure. You know how they keep our documents secret. And through this, I'm going to explain where they will keep these documents at and why it's no way to access them. But I'm going to break it down for you. Stay tuned. Welcome to your go-to channel for all things back to Africa. We explore the journey of Black individuals in the diaspora returning to their roots. With immigration policies, law, providing realization, and reaction videos, this transformative movement will unfold. Join us in a navigative path back to the motherland. Because in a world where they allow you to be anything else, if all else fails, just be Black, immigrated, and emancipated. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Now, my people, I'm going to give it from the perspective of Bushrod Washington, the first president of the ACS, and one of the founding fathers as well. Reverend Robert Finley was the person who had a dream in 1816 that Black people would grow in numbers and they would one day take over the country. So, in order for them to be able to keep America and keep it peaceful, they would have to ship those who are free Africans and who are no longer slaves back to Africa. This piqued the interest of someone named Bushrod Washington, and in 1816, the American Colonization Society was born. Now, Bushrod Washington was the nephew of George Washington. Yes, that George Washington. And he inherited all George Washington's possessions after George Washington died. That was every ounce of property because he was the next in line. All of the things that Washington obtained, slaves, land, possession, ideals, and identity. Washington decided it was a bright idea to take heed to Mr. Reverend Robert Finley's offer of sending the freed blacks back. Granted, side note, he didn't send his slaves back or free any of his slaves. He kept them to the day he died, or he sold them. So, Bushrod was a central figure in the ACS narrative. Today, his contribution as a key individual, it sheds light on the role and how he established Liberia. For those of you who are from Liberia, or those of you who know about Liberia, have you ever heard of Islands? Yes. ACS was meant to be a alternative for the freed blacks. No one was forced to go, but they wanted to establish position within the country, and the place they decided to choose was here. Now, through this journey, it caused a lot of issues. Out of the little over 2,000 people that went to Liberia, not many of them survived the initial journey. Some died of plague, some died of sickness, some died of natural causes. It was very hard for the new people of this land to survive it, let alone they've never been there. So a lot of them became sick. The issue with the American Colonization Society was not that they were sending black Africans home. They had an agenda behind why they were sending them home. We could all speculate on what that agenda was, but it didn't work out the way that they thought it would. In fact, over time, it became conflict between the new settlers and the locals. It became a breeding zone for Western mentality. And as you can see in America, crime, drugs, I can go down the list. Those things started entering their way into Liberia. Bushrod Washington was a part of the American Colonization Society and the American Philosophical School. Now, for those of you who are conspiracy theorists and have done your research on these societies, it's a very exclusive society, only meant for those with presidential approval. And Bushrod Washington was one that was in the very place that hold all the archives. That's every article, book, news, letter, you name it. And that's called the American Antiquarian Society. The society was founded in 1812. He entered in 1813. So, I say all that to say, the goal of coming back to Africa shouldn't be under the guise of reparations or any monetary funding that we get from other groups of people. We should do it on our own accord. We should do it because we want to and because we can. We should make the right decisions in our decision making. And we should change our future by making the next step and making big leaps to another place. Liberia's history is rich. It does bear some small resemblances of the American flag, but it still uniquely is a world of its own. The culture, the people, the vibrations, because the majority of people there were people who were already there. It was hard to change the people of Liberia to even where the people who were strangers had to come. They had to integrate into the world around them, not the other way around. But all in all, my people, in a world where you could be anything else, just be black, immigrated, and emancipated. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Y'all know what to do. Make it easy for your boy. You know, I'm trying to drop this info. I'll go more in depth with these topics. If you want to get more in the historical nature, we can. But I just want to shed light that a lot of these back to Africa movements weren't what we thought it was. And it was only because it was under the guise of the supremacy. Peace. And as always, like, share, and subscribe.